Hello BookTube and welcome to day 7 of Vlogmas. Today I'm coming to you with another tag. Today is the holiday book tag, and this was created by the girl who read. I will leave a link to her video in the down bar below. So essentially each of these questions is based off a different holiday. So let's jump right in and get started. New Year's, a book that you've had on your TBR for a long time and want to get read essentially this year. Because it's the end of the year, it's kind of hard for me with this one, but the book that I picked, that I've had on my shelf for a while, is Practical Magic by Alice Hoffman. I wanted to read this book for years. I didn't realize, now, Practical Magic is one of my very favorite movies, and it wasn't until a few years ago that I found out it was actually based on a book. So now, ever since then, so it's been years, I want to read this. I have a copy of it as an ebook, and I will get to it in 2017. Fingers crossed. Question number 2, Valentine's Day. Your favorite OTP, which I had no idea what that was. I must be really old. I had to look it up. And it's One True Pairing. But I'm pretty much going with your favorite couple. And the couple that I picked for that were Honor and Tom from Kristen Higgins's The Perfect Match. I read this book, 2 or 3 years ago, and they are still my go-to for a favorite couple. I absolutely love the two of them together. They're fantastic. He is super amazing. She is super sweet. I highly recommend these books. This is the second book in the Blue Heron series. If you haven't read them, definitely check out The Best Man is the first book, and this is, and that book's about Faith, and this is Honor, Faith's sister, so book number 2, check it out. Love these two together. They're fantastic. Next question, St. Patrick's Day, a book that has your favorite magical creature. The book that I picked is actually a book that I've never read. But it is one of my favorite movies of all time, and I really would like to pick up a copy of this book and read it maybe in 2017, and that is The Last Unicorn by Peter S. Beagle. Magical creature is a unicorn. The Last Unicorn movie is so unbelievably magical, and I've always loved unicorns, and yeah, I just think that this would be an absolutely fabulous, fabulous book to read. I'd really love to get my hands on this is the 40th anniversary edition, and it's an absolutely gorgeous edition. I'd love to get a hold of it in like a print book format, because it's one of those special books that I'd absolutely love to keep on my shelf. Next question, Easter, a book that inspires you. This is going to be kind of a little bit of a weird one. The book that I picked for this is Eating Animals by Jonathan Safran Foer. It's essentially about the way we eat and why we eat the way we eat. I do not eat a lot of meat. I am trying to go completely vegetarian, but we shall see if that ever actually ends up happening, because bacon. I know, that's horrible of me, isn't it? I'm an animal lover. I'm an animal activist. I can't think about where my food is coming from if I am eating it, because I won't finish it. But this book really, really, really made me think about a lot of things and change my thought process on a lot of things. And it's very, very interesting, and I do recommend it if you're interested in animals or our planet or even your own well-being. It was a great book. The next question is Spring Break, a book where the main character does something they wouldn't normally do. I had a really hard time with this question because that's most books as far as I'm concerned. It advances the plot. I mean, think about any story that you have read and think about that main character and them doing something that maybe they shouldn't or they wouldn't do, and that's what kind of changes the course of their life. So the book that I picked, just for the sake of picking a book, is The Ballad of Emma O'Toole by Elizabeth Lane. I just finished this book last month and I was talking about it. Essentially, she goes ahead and marries the man who killed her sweetheart. And, you know, of course that advances the plot. It's something she probably wouldn't do, and I think she did it kicking and screaming, but she did it anyway, and her life completely changed because of it. So that's my answer to that question. The next question, Independence Day, a book with a corrupt society. That to me means dystopian, and I don't read dystopian, I don't read sci-fi, I don't read fantasy, it's not my thing. But I picked one book that I did read a number of years ago that just screams dystopian, and that is The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. I don't think I need to say any more about this. Everybody's familiar with this book. I haven't ever seen the movie, though, and I never did read past the first book, so I did enjoy it, though. The next category is Halloween. A book that was so scary you couldn't turn the lights off. And I read this book last October in 2015, and that is Dracula by Bram Stoker. Stoker? How do you say his last name? I never know. This book was seriously creepy. I didn't think it was going to be that creepy considering when it was written. And, you know, the first half of the book was even creepier as far as I'm concerned when he was actually at Dracula's castle. But yes, this was a fantastic book, and it is a great classic. I did want to read Frankenstein this year, but maybe next year, we'll see. But yeah, to get some more classics under my belt. Next category is Thanksgiving, a book that shows the love and support of an amazing family or friendship. This one's kind of a funny one as far as I'm concerned because I read it earlier this year and I absolutely loved it. But it is a very dysfunctional family, and that is The Nest by Cynthia Daxbury Sweeney. I loved this book. Essentially, it's about 4 grown siblings. The youngest one is in her 40s, and they're supposed to inherit all this money from their father's estate when the youngest turns 40 or whatever age it is. Well, then the oldest sibling, brother, gets into a car accident and ends up getting sued. And they essentially, the mother ends up emptying out almost this inheritance, or the nest, as they have called it, to give the money to the oldest son to pay his legal fees. And now the other 3 siblings are after him to get the money because they've all essentially pre-spent it. They knew how much it was. Going forward, like the one sister had her children enrolled in a very expensive private school that they were hoping once this money came in they could just pay it off, things like that. Highly dysfunctional, but a wonderful ending, and I really, really enjoyed this book, and I really recommend it to everybody. Next category is, of course, Christmas, and that is a book that reminds you of your childhood. Well, because the question is Christmas, and because this is Vlogmas, the book I had to go with that reminds me of my childhood is How the Grinch Stole Christmas by Dr. Seuss. This is such a wonderful little story. It's magical, and when the cartoon comes on television every Christmas, I have to sit down and watch it. I do admit I have never seen the Jim Carrey version, and I don't think I'm missing anything. The original will always be the best. And the very last one is Birthday. Either a book that you would give to someone as a gift, or your most anticipated read, coming soon. So the book I actually picked is a book that is coming out in January. It's the end of January. And I mentioned Kristen Higgins once in this video. I will mention her again. And her new book comes out at the end of January called On Second Thought. This is a story about friends and family. I really don't know the exact plot of it yet. I didn't even need to read the plot. All I saw was that she had a new book coming out in January, and I immediately pre-ordered it. And I cannot wait to read it in 2017. Hands down, one of my favorite authors of all time. So anyway, guys, that's it for that tag. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you're enjoying the tags that I'm actually doing on Vlogmas, and you're enjoying Vlogmas. It's a little bit of extra work for me. As you can tell, I am pre-recording everything and posting it as the days come up. But if you haven't done this tag and you want to do this tag, please feel free to do so. I have tagged you. I have not seen this one very often on BookTube, so definitely it'd be fun to do any time of the year. But again, if you do it, please post in the comments below and let me know. And until tomorrow, guys, take care and happy reading. Bye.